Today we're going to be working on a DIY foldable backdrop. This foldable backdrop is going to be 7 by 3.5 feet, and it's going to come with digital plans as well for you to purchase on the link in the description. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and share. If you're new here, feel free to follow me on Instagram, DaveTheBuilder_, and I'll be more than happy to share any feedback or answer any questions you have there. Check it out. So based off of the instructions, first things first, we're gonna measure here to take off this side. This is the 4 foot by 8 foot plywood. And I'm making my line. And then I'm gonna need something straight to go straight across, like a 2x4 or something long enough, so that way I can make my cut. This is the first cut. I'm using my Craig rip cut to cut this down to size, but you can use any kind of straight edge to get this first cut. That was my first cut. Now my second cut on this board is gonna be this one. So as of right now, you should have 2 cuts on your plywood. This one, right? The 1 foot, and then you should have this one. So the first piece I'm gonna focus on is this 1 by, I forget what the width is, but it's in the directions, and I'm gonna cut this down first. I'm cutting down all my parts first and then assembly after, as shown in the directions. So I'm gonna have 1, 2, and then a third piece that you'll see what it is for after. You're gonna need 2 of those. Here's the second piece. After I make those 2 pieces, next I'm gonna work on the strips. But once again, I'm just following the plan here. You'll need 4 of these, right? So I'm gonna cut 4 more. I'm sorry, 3 more. Next, I'm gonna make my smaller pieces.
So the smaller pieces are going to be smaller than this piece, right?
So essentially you should have 4 of these, which is the longest piece, right? It's after the 12 by 12 cut. You should have 2 of these, which is the smaller ones, and these are the smallest. 3 different sizes. Okay. So now with this piece, we're gonna do the same. We're gonna cut according to what's in the plans, and you shouldn't have any leftover from this piece, because every piece of it will be used. First cut on this long strip. You're gonna make this cut 3 times. 3 times this cut. Next cut, after you do 3 of those, I'm not gonna do them in the video. You're gonna need 8 of these pieces. And you're gonna need 2 of these pieces. So now here I'm gonna make the legs from that extra piece that I told you to buy in the plans. I'm gonna measure it And all we need is one of these pieces cut down. So I'm measuring it there. I have an in-depth video on this already on my YouTube, so go check it out if you want to watch. I'm gonna save us some time here. I'll put a link with that video. Once you cut that leg down to size, you're gonna have maybe one of these pieces, and then you're gonna cut 16 of these out of these strips. Oops, out of these strips. 16. And if you don't have enough from that strip, you always have that extra piece. And the size is in the plans. So in the plans, I do have a video to how to make like one of these things that I'm about to do, but here's an extra way to do it. So this is just a scrap piece of plywood. You can get a yardstick from like your Home Depot, the painter's yardstick. This is about 23 inches for this arch. For this arch, I'm gonna need it to be 21 inches, which is half of 42 inches. So it doesn't really matter the width, but you want to find the center. So this one is 2 inches, right? So the center will be 1 inch, and you mark it. And maybe if you want to make a line down the middle, you can. All right, boom, 1 inch, 1 inch. Okay. And if you want to make a line, that way you know you could do that too. All right. You'll see why in a second. Okay, now I have that line, right? Just making sure you guys can see it. This is 2 inches, 1 inch in the middle line, straight across. After I do that, I'm gonna mark a hole, at least for this, at 1 inch. Right? I'm gonna drill that hole, and you'll see why. 1 inch hole. Okay. Okay. So you see I have a 1 inch hole. This is gonna be my guide hole. I don't know if you can see it, but this is gonna be my guide hole. And then pretty much this, you're gonna screw the nail in here, and you're just gonna go whoop right across, making another hole somewhere around here, so that way you can get an arch with your jigsaw. Since I had a 1 inch offset, I'm gonna use or mark the board, this piece, at 22 inches versus 21 inches for the 1 inch offset, and that's gonna be where I'm gonna drill another hole. And at 21 inches, I'm gonna make another hole, and this is gonna be for my pencil. So that way I can make the perfect arch. Okay. So in here, you have the screw. Your screw goes in there, and your pencil goes there. So now I'm gonna measure 21 inches down from here to there, and then I'm gonna measure 21 inches from left to right and right to left to find my middle. Then I'm gonna drill my drill hole right in the middle where I mark as shown in the plans, right there, and my pencil is gonna go there, and it's just gonna make a big loop. Show you soon. So now I'm going to use this to make my line, right? So I got this, screw this in, and now I just go straight across. Got a pencil, deep hole pencil, right? And then with it, you put it in that hole, oops, and this will break, so make sure you have a nice sturdy pencil. I have my perfectly made arch right there, boom. I can take this out. And I just want to show you guys, look, perfectly made arch, right, with a pencil that you can use. So here's option one, slow and steady. with the jigsaw, and you just follow the line until you have your arch. But I'm gonna use my router just because I like the cleaner look on the router, but you can use a jigsaw. If you want to use a router, feel free to do so. I recommend though, if you are going to use a router, use the Miles Craft Circle Guide kit with your router. Make sure it's a plunge based router because it works so much better, or it leaves it cleaner than maybe what your hand could do with the jigsaw. So now that I have finished cutting down all my pieces, it should look something like this. The plans will have a better description, and I'm not going to say the exact measurements because those are all in the plans, but I'm going to show you more or less where they get placed. For this part, you should have a total of 4 of these, 2 of these, 4 of these, 4 of these, and 3 of those. You should also have your 18 gauge brad nailer, brad nails, and your glue. So first things first, I'm going to install my 2x2s, right? I'm going to measure up first and then across, and then I'm going to do the same there, there, and there from both sides as shown in the diagram. Pieces should look like that on there. Just going to add some glue, it up. And you can put as many brad nails as you want, the more the merrier, but I like to do 5, and then I'm just going to do the same across. Glue, nails. Next, we're going to install these pieces, and there's going to go one here in this corner, one in the middle, and one on that end. For detailed instructions on where they go and where they need to be placed exactly, you can get them in my plans. Going to add some glue here. Make sure you add enough. And then same thing, brad nails. I want to put extra because my hinges are going to go on here. And if you notice here, I'm putting it beneath the measurement, not above the measurement. And same thing for all the rest. Now that we have these 3 pieces put on with our glue and nails, we will take these pieces and almost like a little puzzle, you just place them there, line them up on each edge. All right, same here, same here. Now, the only difference between these pieces, which I want you to make sure you realize, is that these pieces won't go actually up here. They'll go 3 inches down because that's where the fold will happen. And then this piece will go in between. And even if there's a small gap, that's okay. And then this piece will go in between there. And then you can glue those on. Now that you have everything glued up, this is what it should look like. There's a space. And now we're going to attach the bottom piece as shown. First, you're going to find your measurement, mark, and then do the same from this side to this side, mark, as shown in the plans. And then you're going to go straight up to the size of the legs, and make 2 lines. Once you have your 2 straight lines, you're going to take a block, line it up with the line. And I'll fix that, but just want to get you guys to see what I'm talking about. And then at the end of the line, the end of that measurement, you want to line it up there as well. Same thing here. And essentially, I'm going to glue those and hit them with the brad nails, and it'll look like that. After adding those, we should have 2 of these cover pieces and 2 of these pieces. I have an extra one, but it's not necessary. One is going to go here, right on top. Another one's going to go right on top of there. Oops, sorry. One of these is going to go here. Another one's going to go there. And then you'll see a pocket. So now that we have the covers on, as seen there, we're going to get to the legs. Now the legs are gonna open and close like this with the hinges. But you're gonna attach one block there, one block here. And if you notice closely, I'm gonna align it with the corners, with the edges. And same thing up here. I'm gonna align it with the edge and then add another block there. Don't want you to forget these pieces. You're gonna attach one of these pieces onto here, as shown in the directions. Glue it on. Same thing here. These will slide in and out. If they're snug, you can always sand them down. So now that the legs are done, I just place them to the side. We're gonna flip the board over, and once we flip the board over, we're gonna find what's half of the board, and then we're gonna cut across. And when we cut across, we're gonna cut this in half. This piece is gonna get cut in half. That way, it's able to fold. So you're gonna find the middle of the board, which shows the exact measurements in the plans, and then you're gonna mark a line straight across, and that's what you're gonna cut. Remember though, with your circular saw, this is 1/2-inch plywood. With your circular saw, you're gonna have to lower the depth so that way it can cut through, because you have two pieces that it's cutting through. So I would lower the depth to at least 1 inch, 1 1/8 inch of a cut. I'm gonna cut my arch in half. First things first, I'm gonna adjust my blade depth to 1 inch. A little over, because that's how much it's gonna use. All right. And then I'm gonna cut right across slowly. Okay. And now you have your folded arch. Now you can take this and attach the hinges, and you're almost done. Now that our board is cut in half, it should look like this. All right. And I'm gonna line it up here, so that way it's as connected as possible. And then this I'm gonna lower it. And then I'm gonna add a clamp here, like this. To hold it in place, snug. And I'm gonna add one on that side, and you can add one in the middle. Once you add that and it's snug and aligned, you wanna make sure like there's no gap here. You saw there's a gap. You wanna lift it or lower it, push down. You add a hinge right in the middle, and you do the same here and there. For the legs, you're going to show you, take that, and it's gonna fold this way, and this other leg is gonna fold the other way. Once you have your legs attached, they should be able to open. And they should be able to close. And if you want, you could test it out before flipping over to the other side, or we're starting to wrap up a little bit. But you want to make sure like you could fold your arch in half and open it.